How are you doing, first of all?
Yeah, it's always a tough situation when you know when it's involved with one of the youth, especially when it's involved with a young person doing something that they were very passionate about. Um, and This young man was where he needed to be. He was doing what he loved. He was doing what was tied to his passion, which was playing football and sports, period. Very energetic, very athletic young man. Um, but he had a good heart. He loved his family. And his family, of course, is dealing with the loss that's left, with him. Oh, boy.
Mom and Dad out here today. Can you tell us a little bit about how they're doing?
Well, just like any parent, that deals with the loss of their child, it's tough. It's tough. He was the mother's firstborn, so of course, whether it was the first or the last, it would have been a tough situation regardless because it's her child. And him being 12 years old, actually going through his passion, and that's the thing that I think resonates more with, everybody. He could have been in the street running around, getting in trouble, but he was doing what was tied to what he loved, which was football. They're definitely upset over the fact that how could this happen, with the fact that there were so many children. You could play the what ifs in so many different scenarios and it would never get any better. And the fact that this situation happened with so many kids out here is it's heartbreaking. And the friends, the way they responded, what motivates a young boy that young to jump into action to help their friend out. And those are the two, young boys that are in the hospital now because they were trying to aid their friend. So hearts and prayers goes out to them and their families and also for their recovery. But yeah, the mother and father are upset. And there are some questions that definitely need to be answered, for sure. But right now, they want to deal with the grieving of the loss.
There were so many people who were out here just now. This was obviously an amazing young man. What can you tell us about him, about who he was?
Malquan, Malquan was all boy. He was all boy. And he had every motivation, every intention that he wanted to play professional sports in some regard. But he was a big brother. So he was very protective of his younger siblings. He loved his family. Of course, his family absolutely loves and adores him and are really going to deal with the mourning of his loss.
What position did he play in football? Where would you see him on the field, maybe college or pro one day, if he could have gotten there?
I'm going to tell you, Malcolm was such an athletic young man. It wouldn't have been any limitations on what he would have pursued. Now, the times I played ball with him, which was pretty regular, he wanted the ball. So whether you were pitching it to him as a running back or throwing it to him for a receiver, he wanted to be in that mix. But like I say, it's just a tough situation. It's never easy when our youth are affected by something like this. We don't know all the details, but we do know that it's just one of those really just gut-wrenching, heartbreaking situations that here they are at a park, and this is what we're dealing with.
So what memories will you have of him? What is something that you will remember of him? And his joy, his way of playing the game? Well,
his smile. He had a real mischievous smile, especially when he knew he was up to something he shouldn't have been into. But he just was, he was just one of those never quit type young men. He would fall or take a bruise or take a bump, but he would get right back up and add that grit and motivation to keep going. So,
you mentioned a lot of questions, which no one's, we're all trying to work to get those answers. What are some of your questions, parents' questions in all of this?
Yeah, and at this point, we don't even want to go into the piece of trying to determine, what is what. right now the family needs to stay focused and wants to stay focused on the grieving piece, because that's going to be the most tremendous hurdle that they have to deal with. Yesterday, this mother went to bed, or woke up yesterday with her son still walking around living, and yesterday she realized she lost her firstborn. It's not an easy thing. You know, the father was just as passionate about his kids and started them out at a very young age with sports. So it's a loss regardless.
Siblings, are they old enough to understand? How they doing?
So his younger brother, of course, who that was his best friend. They were argue, fight, play, keep going, push each other hard like brothers do. And that was exactly what they did for one another. But it's a lot of concern, of course. That's a tremendous loss. And then with them being so young, it's just even harder because of, you know, trying to process it. Yeah. I mean, think of it as adults. You're trying to deal with the loss of your child leaving before you. And now as a younger sibling, I have to deal with my best friend no longer being around. So it's, like I said, it's layers upon layers, levels upon levels that they're gonna have to deal with and navigate through.
Have you talked to the other families? Do you know anything about the other kids?
Yeah, like I said, at this point, the family just wants everybody to know to please just keep them uplifted in prayer. Please, just at this time, they're looking for the support and love of everyone, more so than they're looking for the agitation of anything else. This is their son. This is their family member. This is their loved one, their friend in many regards with these boys. Because remember, there was football practice going out here. So it's not just the family that's going to have to deal with the after effects of this. The friends, the teammates, even the coach, you know, of course, are dealing with a lot of inner pain and turmoil.
So they were practicing at the time. They weren't actually playing one of the games in this league.
Right, they were practicing.
They were practicing.
Yeah, they were practicing.
And the added part of this was that mom was out there at the time.
Well, like I said, and I mean, I don't want to add any unnecessaries to this narrative. It's already, like I said, painful as it is. But we're not gonna, you know, paint the unnecessary pictures with it. Just understand that there's a mother who is now without her firstborn and a father who's without his firstborn.
How can people help them? Because they're going to want to, I mean, I
Yeah,
know people's
absolutely.
hearts are broken for these parents.
Absolutely. And at this point in time, this is exactly one of those tests that as a city, as a community, we all need to stand up and move forward towards the challenge. We'll provide some more details as far as all of that. Again, this just happened yesterday, you guys. So they're barely even able to, you know, determine what's what. So we'll sit down, we'll assist them in every way we can, and they're going to come together as a family and ensure that they make sure that his legacy is withstanding, but also that they come together as a family. But right now, this is a moment for the community to really just take heed to the fact that we lost a future leader. We lost a future athlete. We lost a child in our city.
Is there anything else that you want to say?
No, again, like I said, the family will put out through social media and through the media how people can get in touch and show their support. But right now, they're just trying to hold on to the day and what they're dealing with.
The incident happened after